Hey everybody, Dean here, Cabin 13 Masks on the Cabin 13 Mask News. No. Who cares? Anyway, I want to give you guys a little DIY on Pt8 straps, homemade. If you want to do it, yeah. I did it on this one. You melt my face. Now I'm gonna melt you. Which ain't nothing but some thrift store belts, baby. And 1 inch to 3/4. You want to try and get 3/4. If not, you could take your handy dandy razor knife here and just trim it off to 3/4 of an inch. If you want to try and find either a buckle like this, you know, you can easily, this bends right off. This piece right here bends right off. You're gonna need, or you can, choice is yours on what you use. Hobby Lobby sells it. You can get these little pop-in rivets here. You can use pliers or a little hammer to tap them in, or use these handy dandy little screw-in rivets, which I find to be very helpful, other than their freaking flatheads. I can't stand flatheads. They're a pain in the butt, especially if you got trimmers in your hands like I do from medication. But they work great. Stuff you'll need, you know, you can, Michael's, I found these little D-loops at Michael's. They're roughly 3/4 of an inch, you know, or you could do like I did on this particular mask, and I just went ahead and used these small ring loops here. Small ring loop, D-loop. I didn't see these at Michael's. They might have them there, but I know these are at Michael's. Hobby Lobby, Michael's. Okay. Get yourself some 10-snip shears, and you're gonna need a set of these bulldog shears. But you can do it with the regular ones as well, and some hand tongs, or you could use a regular bench vise. Now let's get to the straps. Straps, roughly 9 inches. You can do 10, but you always want to bend an inch behind the D-loop, okay? The snap connectors, these pieces right here, roughly about 4 inches, 4 or 5. That's the end of the inch. Start with 6, and then cut it down. But you want to make sure you have at least 3 inches there. Oh God, have mercy on my soul. Yeah. You're looking for 3 inches, so you want 3 inches. So 3 and an inch on each side to fold over. 3 plus 1, that's 4. 5-inch piece. You're gonna need 3 5s, 3 5-inch pieces like this. Yeah. This piece here, you can go with a larger loop if you like, or do the buckle piece. Now, either way, it's thrift store stuff. The big loops you can get at Harbor Freight as well. But you want to cut it, and you're going to need a piece of sheet metal. I used to be a sheet metal mechanic, so I know this stuff, okay? Stick that puppy through there, you know, just bend it over, take your hand towels there, bend it tight, it moves. Yeah. Yeah, it's on there. Handy dandy little bulldog snips here. I say bulldogs because you're cutting 2 pieces of metal. And you're just gonna round it off like so. They don't have to be perfect, but that's what you're looking for. Drill your hole here for your snap to go in your mast there. And that's done, you know. Then you just put your leather through there. You can go with 1/2 inch, man. Whatever your preference is. And always be careful with working with sheet metal because it is not your friend. After 20 plus years of playing with it, it will hurt you. Now putting in your holes for your belt loop. You know, I mean, you can cut out, you can get different buckles. You know, there's other videos to show you how to work with leather. To me, it's hockey mask, man. I know Jason ain't going for hockey mask of the month as far as straps goes. He's going for kill of the week. Kill them. You know, get yourself a leather punch. If you don't want to get a leather punch, you can use, down here, this kind of punch. You can get it at any hardware store. Does the job. This is what I use on my little hammer snaps. These guys. Works fine. But I also use handy dandy little duck hammer. But they work great, man. I mean, granted, anybody who builds masks knows that, you know, a set of Pt8 straps go for around 35 to 60 bucks, I think. No, not that high, but depending on which ones you get, they got different ones. You know, they could be a little pricey, but you can get all this stuff, man. The belts at a local thrift store, you know, or you can go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and get some leather. You know, Michael's sells I used it all up there. They sell strips of leather, pre-cut, already in a pack. It's like 2 feet or more, or like 13, 14 bucks. But this process, you could do the same thing with a D-loop. Just a regular loop. And you're just wrapping it through, cinching it down, squinching it down. These, if you got a vise, use a vise. You know, you could use a pair of lineman pliers. Anything you get a grip on that'll squeeze it down on there so it'll move freely, which it will. You know. But these turned out great for me. I mean, everything's worked as it should. You know, these are all thrift store belt buckles, man. I mean, you just want the small ones. You know, of course, I couldn't be like, well, they all got a match. I couldn't find a matching set of belt buckles, but it works great. It does the job. But yeah, it's pretty cut and dry, man, and simple to do, a little simple process. And save some coin in your pocket, which is a big thing. So You can paint them up, do like I did with it, man. Paint them. Go with the satin when you use it. And just add little folds and do something, make it look old leather, squished up, whatever. You know. But yeah, that's that. I hope this little DIY on Pt8 straps and making them was helpful. You know, it's easy to do, man. It takes a little bit to make them. You know, not much. It don't take long, but it's easy. Like I said, being a sheet metal guy, piece of cake. You can get a piece of sheet metal from your hardware store, of course. You know, you don't need a monster piece. You know, for that matter, it ain't got to be sheet metal. You use, they sell flat pieces of copper. You don't need a whole shebang of it. I mean, like this. This is just cut off a piece, man. You cut little 1/2-inch strips out of it. You know, you get a mask out of that. And that's that. So I hope this was helpful to all you people in Horrorland and and Jason Pt8 Maskland. You know, I will say this mask is a fun one to make, as you get to work with fire. But be very careful when you do it. I will say this: these plastic fumes are not. Don't breathe it in. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area, preferably outside. If you got a mask like this, you can get them at Harbor Freight, man. It's not expensive. Wear that. They're not expensive, and the refills ain't expensive neither. But yeah, it's a fun mask to make, and you can make your own. You just get a sense of pride out of making your own straps for it. You know, and you make it as however many you need, however big your peanut is, man. It'll work. But yeah, like I said, I got these D-loops at Michael's and these at Hobby Lobby. So, like I said, it's easy to do, but you are gonna need a pair of these little bulldog guys. Because when you're cutting layered metal like this, man, it's put together like this instead of 24 gauge, it's like 22 gauge metal, which is thick. And that's that. And you can get yourself a little bag of washers, these small little dudes. Paint them up. Don't forget to put your sealer on them after you paint them. This stuff don't come off. But with that being said, Dean McCabin 13 news here on a DIY on making your own Pt8 straps. I hope it was helpful to you. If not, then I'll make another one that might be helpful to you. With that being said, I'm out. Everybody have a happy evening. Ding 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 diddly do. Yay.